Kelly, great to see you. As David mentioned, Johnny Depp is suing for defamation in the amount of $50 million. Amber Heard is countersuing for $100 million. But to prove defamation, he has to show that not only what she wrote in the Washington Post opinion piece in 2018 was a bunch of lies, he has to prove malice as well. And it's difficult to prove that. These cases are tough to prevail in, correct?
Absolutely. You bring up a really good point. So Johnny Depp is a plaintiff in the litigation, so he has the burden of proof. He has to prove that, in fact, that he was defamed, that it harmed his reputation, and because of that, he's had economic harm. So when Johnny Depp took the witness stand, he testified about the fact that how it's hurt his career. But ultimately, it'll be up to the jury to make a determination on the facts and evidence and whether he can prove his case or not.
Right. And that element of malice, though, I mean, it's really difficult to sort of get a jury to understand what was in somebody's mind, what was in Amber Heard's mind when she wrote that opinion piece. I mean, that showing that maybe he suffered harm as a result of this because of his reputation. And he said today, I was listening, that, this was not just domestic, but it sort of went out on social media. It was global. He couldn't get jobs in other countries either. That malice element, though, is really tough.
Yes, you bring up a very good point. It's what her intent was. Did she have the intent to harm them? And so ultimately, he's going to have to prove that. And how is he going to prove that? Is she going to take the witness stand and show that that was her intent, that she really wanted to harm him? We're going to have to wait and see.
Many people were saying that he would have been better off leaving well enough alone, that all this has done is, create a situation where they've spent a lot of time, a lot of money, not necessarily going to have a clear conclusion here or get the outcome that he's looking for, and that, essentially he should have just left it alone. So she wrote this piece and made some allegations. People could choose to believe her or not in the court of public opinion.
Yes, that's very true. And this case is coming out in the court of public opinion and also in the court of law. But when he testified today, he said that he was a truth seeker and that he wanted the truth. And it seemed like this has bothered him for the last 6 years, where he really felt that he wanted his day in court. And that's what's so great about the U.S. court system. You have your day in court. You have your opportunity to plead your case to the jury. And whether the jury believes him or not, we'll have to find that out in the next couple of weeks.
I guess one of the questions that I would have here is spousal abuse, physical abuse of that nature is a crime. So I'm not sure of the details in this specific case, but I would wonder, why didn't she report it? I'm not sure if she did or she didn't. I'm sure that, as we get into the details, that'll come out. But I'm not sure if you have any knowledge of that. Rather than go write an opinion piece in the Washington Post, I mean, I would call the police.
Right. You bring up a really good point. And it's important for us that women that are in abusive situations to believe them. And it's important for them to be heard. But you bring up a really good point. Was she actually abused? Was he a wife beater or not? Did that really actually happen? Or is that something that she made up to harm him, with the talk about the malice intent? Was this her malice intent, that I'm going to do this? I am going to say that he physically abused me, if that's not the case, because I know it's going to harm him, harm his reputation, harm his career, and it's a way for me to punish him or get back at him.
This is interesting, and I will confess, I have not read the piece that she wrote a few years ago, but my understanding is she never mentioned Depp by name. She talks about being a survivor of physical abuse. It's obviously implied in many ways, and people knew who she was involved with, so they would suspect that it would be him. But does that detail, will that detail play a role in this?
That's a really interesting point, and we have to think about, but who else was she talking about? And so even though she didn't mention him by name, people who read it said, oh, that's Johnny Depp.
Right.
I mean, we have to remember he had that other case and that he lost, where the son called him a wife beater, and he lost that lawsuit as well. And so now he's bringing a lawsuit in the U.S. courts, and hopefully he'll get some kind of justice, whether in the court of public opinion or in the court of law. But we'll have to kind of wait and see what happens with that.
Yeah, we're going to watch this one play out. I will tell you, I was glued to the TV today, as were many, watching the courtroom, the broadcast of it. So we'll see what happens. Kelly, we'll have you back, and we'll break it down further. Thank you.
Great to see you. Thanks so much.